Hi, my name is Nkechi Njaka, and I am one of the practitioners here on the Science and Magic platform. I am so thrilled to be contributing content to this beautiful conversation that we're having around our wellness and our bodies. And one of the things that I love to contribute is embodied practices and somatic practices. I am a neuroscientist and a dancer choreographer. And so I will be leading us through a guided moving meditation or mindful movement. And one of the things that I really appreciate about this practice is it really helps us to support our nervous system, and it helps us to be able to develop a deeper listening of ourselves. So I invite you to find a comfortable place to be. As you can see, I'm in my home, and you don't need a lot of space for this practice. So I invite you to find a comfortable way to be for the next 20 minutes or so. So as you can see, I am here in my living room. So you don't need a lot of space for this practice, but just enough to be able to move and also stand comfortably. If you would rather sit in a chair or sit on the floor, you can, whatever feels best in your body. So the very beginning of this practice, we'll just start with a meditation to ground. And again, you can do this standing or sitting. I will be standing. And so if you are standing like myself, really find a way to be firmly planted here in the earth, so heels to the ground, and then really thinking of stacking the body on top of itself. So if you're sitting, you want to think of the knees on top of the ankles. If you're standing, you want to think of the hips on top of the heels, shoulders on top of the hips. So a lot of the time, we tend to round the shoulders forward just because we're driving or we're typing. But really think of actually rounding the shoulders just slightly back so that you actually can feel a little bit more here. And if you do roll the shoulders back, take a moment to just notice what it is that you're feeling. Again, if you're standing or sitting, you can begin to think of the space of the neck. So we often tend to have the chin parallel to the chest, which kind of compresses the muscles of the neck. So we want to actually lift the chin, allowing the chin to be parallel to the earth. And that opens up this space here. And an opening of this space here, you might start to feel things. So if you'd like, you can close the eyes. I invite you to do that. And we'll begin by taking 3 breaths together. So we'll draw a breath in deep in the belly, inhaling in through the nose and then exhaling out through the mouth. And again, drawing a breath in and exhaling breath out. And again, drawing a breath in, exhaling breath out. So we've already began to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us to rest and digest. So we're going to be working with our breath as we move through our moving practice. So we'll start our practice actually with our feet, and we'll work our way up to the top of the head. And so you'll find a sense of groundedness in the heels. So just maybe even rock up and down to find just a little vibration moving through the body. If you'd like, you can offer up a sound so you can hear sound in the chest, and then just land. Finding your heels planted in the earth, left foot and right foot. Just noticing any sensation here. So you might notice some tingling or warmth or heat. But you also might notice gravity and weight. You might notice a sense of connection. You might feel the hard surface of the floor, maybe if you're on carpet, the soft surface. So really allowing yourself to pay attention, drawing a breath in, exhaling breath out. And we'll begin having a dialogue with our toes. So starting with the left foot, you're just going to simply start to wiggle the toes on the left foot, and then wiggling the toes on the right foot, and beginning to kind of move them around, feeling into the skin and the stickiness of the contact, but also feeling into, again, the sort of mechanics of the foot. So this might be the very first time today, or even this week or year, that you've actually very consciously paid attention to the feet. So noticing, and then starting to move into the arches. So we'll rock the heels back and forth. Remembering to breathe here, rocking back and forth, and adding a slight bend to the knees. We're inhaling and rocking, exhaling. Great. And then we'll stop the rocking, plant the feet. If it helps, you can place a hand on the belly, hand on the heart, and we'll just take 3 breaths here. So drawing a breath in, exhaling out. Again, drawing a breath in, exhaling breath out. 3rd time, inhaling in, exhaling breath out. Great. So finding the knees, we're just going to begin to lift the legs. So if you would like to become really articulate with this movement, you can think of pressing into the toes and lifting up lightly, gently. So just rolling through, and we're breathing here. So inhaling, exhaling. Again, inhaling, exhaling. And finding your own natural rhythm, you can slow it down, maybe less of movement, slower breath, or you can pick up the pace if you want to generate any heat in the body. Whatever feels good to you. And then we'll stop that movement and finding your feet again planted in the earth. And maybe one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart, and just checking in, noticing any and everything that has arisen in this moment. So in our mindfulness practice, we are most interested in what is truly occurring moment to moment. We do our very best not to judge ourselves for the practice. We just come back to our breath and how we feel in our body anytime the mind wanders. And then releasing that. So finding the sense of stability here. So again, thinking of having the ankles right below the knees. So really feeling kind of a stability here in the bend, and then thinking of the hips. And so we're going to do the same with the hips. We're just going to slightly rock the hips forward. So again, we're going to be breathing as we do this, and you can kind of pick whatever pace you like. So you're just thinking of the ergonomics and mechanics of the body's natural folds. And so inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, and choosing your own pace, your own cadence, natural rhythm of the body. And then coming back to a pause, checking in here, finding your breath, finding a sense of groundedness. And we're actually going to think of our spine. So if you really think of lengthening from the center part of this body, lifting up, thinking of engaging the core, while also keeping the back really, really open. And so we're thinking of extending through the spine, lifting here, and you might even feel the breath moving through the center of the body. So you might think of it moving through the belly, might moving through the torso, the ribs, the lungs, and maybe even in the chest as well. And so we're just going to gently move from side to side. So you can let the arms kind of swaying with this, and we'll just Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, and finding your own natural cadence to this movement, whatever feels good for you. Moving from the spine, moving from the center of the body. Keeping the knees bent slightly, thinking of the support of the ankles, feeling your feet firmly planted in the earth. So you have all of this stability moving while you're moving. And then finding a pause, and again, feeling your feet planted, finding the belly, finding the heart, and just checking in here. And maybe offering some deeper breaths here. So we'll do 3, inhaling, exhaling out. And again, inhaling, exhaling out. And again, inhaling, exhaling. And then from here, we're just going to think of moving the arms. So just allowing the arms to flow. You might feel, again, this slight rotation in the shoulders. If you'd like, you can round them out or move them forward, but I tend to round backwards. Keeping the elbows open as well, letting the movement flow through the arms, through the elbows, through the wrists, through the hands, through the fingers. And again, breathing here, so we're not forgetting our breath. Breath is a part of this movement. Breath is a part of our practice. So inhaling, exhaling. Again, inhaling, exhaling. And again, inhaling, exhaling. You might find that you want to breathe slower, slowing the movement down, or you might want to breathe faster and create more movement, create more heat, whatever feels best for you. And then when you're ready, you can stop the movement and find your feet firmly planted. And again, establishing that connection between yourself, the earth, and the body. Finding your breath. And just noticing what you notice. And letting it exist here. And then we'll finally conclude this part of the practice with the head. So we're going to make a gentle figure 8 or infinity sign. It's like you're drawing with the chin. And really think about that cue from the beginning of wanting the chin to be parallel with the earth. Keeping that neck space open. So it's almost like you're drawing a figure 8 right on the earth. Or you might think of a pen being at the very top of the head and you're drawing a figure 8 on the ceiling or in the sky. Very gentle movement. We're not being abrupt with this at all. If you get a little dizzy, you can find a fixed place to look at while you move the head. You can close the eyes, whatever feels better. And then taking a pause, remembering the breath again. And then coming back to your sense of being here in this space. It's important anytime we do a mindfulness practice to just check in so we're able to integrate our practice with our sort of everyday consciousness of ourselves in space. So just taking a moment to close the eyes if the eyes were open and really just sit with an inquiry for a minute or two. You can pause the recording if you'd like. More time. If you want to journal, you can. So we'll work with the inquiry of where are you feeling movement in the body, or a sense of energy, sense of excitement or nervousness, or maybe even we call that anxiety. And wherever we feel that in the body, if at all, we can begin to direct our breath there. So we'll deepen the breath from the belly, inhaling in, exhaling, and 2 more times, inhaling in, exhaling out, and again, inhaling in, exhaling out. So with each breath that we have consciously, we are able to more efficiently work with our nervous system and the consciousness of our nervous system. So we really want to find our way back to this bridge from our practice to ourself, find our way back to ourself with this practice, to a place of rest, a place of reset, a place of homeostasis. A lot of the time we can be really busy, doing a lot of things, needing to be in a lot of places, a lot of things holding our attention. And so anytime that we are finding kind of the chaos of this world that exists outside of our body, we can come back to the internal, and we can come back to building stability here with our breath. We're going to move from kind of this like stationary movement to a little bit more movement within this space. So even if you have more furniture in your space than I do, or if you'd like to just do this practice in one stationary spot, you can, but we're going to begin doing a walking meditation. And so with the walking meditation, I'm going to make very small circles in my space, and you can totally follow suit. Otherwise, you can walk in place, which is totally fine. If you're sitting, you can do this in a chair as well. And if you'd like more space, you can move outside and take your practice outside if you'd like. So in thinking about a walking meditation, I always just like to have my hands behind my back, just so that I'm not distracted by what they could or could not be doing. Really, the intention with a walking meditation is to actually feel your body moving through space with the support of the legs and the feet. So we'll begin by grounding, again, finding your heels planted, finding the toes planted. And we'll begin walking. If you'd like, you can close your eyes or you can keep them open, bringing the gaze in. So this is a time where you can actually bring the chin towards the chest. And so as you take breath, you're going to begin moving slowly. And so this is going to be slower movement than you're probably typically used to walking. So you're just going to find the mechanics of walking in your space. And as you're walking, you're going to be taking very slow breaths. So inhaling in and exhaling breath out. And again, bringing the air into the body and exhaling the breath out. And then from here, you're going to slow down the walk. So really pressing into the heel, really feeling the shift of weight as you transfer the weight from one foot to the other. And then beginning to become more aware of all that is required for one step. And then slowing down the walking even more. So it's almost as if you're barely moving. So slowing down the walking. then slowing it down even more, continuing to breathe. Right foot, left foot. Checking in with the breath. Deepening your awareness. And then eventually find a pause. You can release the grip of the hands if you were holding them. And just finding your breath within the body. Finding slowness from the very root of the body, the heel. Letting that slowness gradually move up the body, to the knees, to the hips, to the spine, to the shoulders, to the head. And if your eyes are closed, you can open them and we'll just begin to lift the heels again. So allowing the whole sense of movement to shift through the body, beginning to let the hands move. If you want to create more movement or even add sound, you can. And adding the head, the shoulders, giving yourself a little bit of a shake. And then stopping, feeling what you feel. We'll close this practice by bending the knees, finding the feet, and we'll externally rotate the arms out. So on the inhale, we'll bring the arms over the head. Exhale, we'll send the energy back to the earth. So we'll do this 3 times together. Inhaling. And exhaling. Again, inhaling. And exhaling. 3rd time, inhaling. Exhaling. Thank you so much for your practice. I hope that you have a wonderful day.